Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Tamika Thompson and I am the owner and resume writer at Thompson Resume Writing Company, and for this video I want to give you all some tips for job searching in a tough or a brutal job market, aka right now. So you guys know that I was laid off from my last job expectedly yet unexpectedly, and I found myself in the job search streets, and it was incredibly intense. And since I just went through it and survived, I decided, well, why not make a video to share with you guys how to endure this very challenging job market that we are currently in right now. So I wanted to share my experiences, give you guys some insight, and also give you all some tips on how to overcome some things that you may experience if you're job searching now or if you plan to. Job searching itself is difficult alone, but when you add in how things are going right now in terms of the economy and inflation and hundreds of thousands of people being laid off, and you're dealing with a lot more competition, it can be a lot. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this video. Number one on this list is to bring your A game, your A1 game to every single interview. Now, I went on about 45 interviews with 6, 7, 8 different companies, somewhere around there. And I get interview fatigue, right? Especially when you're interviewing with one company and they have 5, 6, 7 plus interview rounds. It can be a lot, right? So y'all done interviewed me 7 times and y'all still want me to be enthusiastic about this job. And I kind of don't care anymore, but I do, and I still want it. But it's like, you have to understand that every round matters. And I get it, right? I experienced interview fatigue myself, but nevertheless, I sucked it up and showed up on camera for the virtual interviews and in the in-person interviews that I had with my A game. Whatever feedback they gave in regards to the position, why I didn't get it, why I didn't move on to the next round, I highly doubt that anyone ever said it was because I didn't present myself well or my answers weren't good enough. Right now, with so much competition in the job market, recruiters or employers will have like upwards of 10 people that they are interviewing for these jobs. And while after the 3rd or the 4th interview, you just may be completely exhausted and completely over it, still make sure that you are showing up to those interviews on point. You're taking notes, you have your questions drafted, you know about the interviewer, you know how long they've been with the company, you know, have your lighting set up, your camera works, your Wi-Fi is good, your posture is good, you're well dressed, you're presenting yourself well. Like, show up to every single interview with your A game and be ready to play hardball, because unfortunately it does make a difference. And it sounds so petty, right, to get to the 5th or the 6th step of the interview and have that person say, oh, I just didn't feel like they gave it their all. And it's like, well, because I gave you my all in the first 6 interviews. Like, what do you even mean? But try to show up to every single interview just top notch, again, ready to play ball, ready to go hard, ready to show them what you got, ready to prove yourself, no matter what. Just to share with you guys in the spirit of transparency, because y'all know I like to keep it 100% real on my channel in all of my videos. My current job, this job gave me 9 interview rounds, y'all. 9. First of all, my anxiety was through the roof. I was so anxious. And the recruiter, she was so nice. She is so nice, because right now she's my colleague. But she would call me and she's like, how do you think it went? And I'm like, I don't know, girl. Like, we're on interview 5 right now. Like, I was expecting an offer at like interview round 6. So to go on, 4 more was just insane. But the team, who are now my team, gave me consistent feedback across the board. They were like, she kept the same energy throughout the interview round. She was consistent. She had great energy. She came with great questions for everyone. There was not a single ball that was dropped. So again, I get it, especially with a lot of interview rounds and you're dealing with things like presentations and projects and case studies, and it's a lot. But again, show up as your best at 100% ready to go at all times. Number 2 on this list is to utilize all channels and all resources. So I've been seeing a lot of TikTok videos, Instagram rants where people are just like, Indeed is trash, LinkedIn is trash, the job boards, all the jobs are fake. Like, I get it. And don't get me, I don't want to minimize anybody's experience because we all have different experiences when it comes to our job search for various reasons. This is not to discredit what those people may have gone through, but use all of the channels at your disposal. I have shared in multiple videos the importance of using different platforms. Use social media, use the online job boards. So yes, use ZipRecruiter, yes, use Indeed, yes, use Career Builder, yes, use LinkedIn, but also use memberships and associations, tap into your network, scroll the websites of companies that you are interested for or that you are interested in directly. Use special job boards, like there's Indeed, but then there are jobs specifically for remote jobs, and then there are jobs specifically for marketers, and then there are job boards for specifically sales professionals, and then there are job boards for project management professionals. The jobs are out there. Not all of the job boards are fake. You have to utilize all channels, all platforms at your disposal, and any and every path or journey that you can take, I want you to take advantage of it. That also includes reaching out to your network. There were quite a few people that I was able to reach out to in the early stages of my job search and land interviews simply because I knew someone who knew someone. And although I made it to the end of the interview round, I didn't get the offer, but that's okay. It was still an interview that was in my pipeline. So when you create your job search strategy, and I recorded a video giving you all some tips on how to do that, make sure that you are breaking your strategy up by day, by platform, by frequency. Like, some people say, oh, I shouldn't have to do all that. But at the same time, we're in a digital first society, right? All of the platforms are saturated. All of the job boards are saturated. You're not the only person looking for a job. And so, yes, you are going to have to do some digging and some uncovering and some finding and submitting the applications. It just is what it is. So use anything and everything that you have at your disposal. Number 3 on this list is to realize if and when you have to play the long game. Now, I was fortunate enough to really only be unemployed for 26 days. So that's like three weeks and a couple of days. But I understand that that's not everyone's journey. There are people who have been job searching for 6 months, 8 months, a year. Understand that finding a job takes time, and I recorded a video on this to my channel also. The average time that it takes to land a new job from when you leave another one tends to be 90 days or longer, right? So you have that time period of when you apply to a job from when you first get your first round interview, you get first contact, then you go through the interview process, the time in between that. It can take some time to get a job offer, and then you have the time from when you accept the offer to when you actually start. So it can take some time. But in a tough job market, it can take 6 months or longer, sometimes up to a year, to find the position or get an offer that you really, really want. So in situations like that, you have different options. You can take in the meantime, in between time type of job where you just take something because you are bored or you just want to. You can make a career transition, or you can hold out and pull all your resources together financially to float you until you are able to land the opportunity that you're looking for. But I would say when you get to that 3 to 4 month mark in your job search when you haven't gotten anything, you may have to come to the conclusion like, hey, this is going to take a little bit longer than I anticipated, and maybe start switching up your job search strategy a little bit to accommodate the extra time that you will now spend job searching. Now, when I started job searching initially, like after I had gotten laid off, I had a timeline in place. And I was like, okay, when it gets to this point, I'm going to do X. You have to go into your job search with that in mind because things can go either way with these jobs. You can get an offer and it can be rescinded. You can get an offer and the company can have a hiring freeze, right? So many things can happen and you don't know what exactly is going to happen. So sometimes you will have to play the long game, and that may mean, either taking a step down, either in pay or in career level, taking an in-between job that you don't really care about just so you have something, money coming in or whatever. Or maybe you do a career transition altogether, or again, you just kind of extend that window out of when you expect to start or have a new job. I hope that makes sense. Next on this list is to take breaks when fatigue occurs. So this happened to me. I believe there was 1 week in particular where I feel like I had at least, I think I had like 10 interviews in a week, and I was completely overwhelmed. And so instead of going directly into the next round of interviews with those jobs, I actually took a week in between. And I was like, next week doesn't really work for me. Let's do the week after that. Job search, burnout, fatigue, interview burnout and fatigue is very real. It is exhausting showing up for these interviews. It's anxiety inducing. You want to make sure you're saying the right things and that you are saying what they want to hear, and you know that you're technically under a microscope and they're observing everything that comes out of your mouth and your presentation and everything. It's a lot. Interviewing is a lot. And so when you feel yourself approaching burnout, or when you feel burnt out, like you've already hit burnt out, take a break. So you know what? I've been on X number of interviews. I've put out all these applications. I need a break. You can take a break for as long as you like. You can take a week off. You can take a couple of weeks off, or you can take a month off. However long you need to take it so that when you start interviewing again, when you rev back up, you are back to your 100% self. But fatigue is very real. You can push through it, but you don't have to. I definitely encourage taking a break if you feel like you are at that point or you are nearing that point. And last on this list is to focus on building relationships. And I know that a lot of career coaches say this, and I don't mean building relationships for the job that you plan to get immediately, right? You can meet someone on LinkedIn. You can't immediately ask that person for a reference or a job referral because you just met this person. But what you can do is start building relationships now for 6 months from now, 8 months from now, a year from now. When it comes to building a new relationship with a recruiter, with someone who works at a company that you want to work for, with a colleague, it takes time to nurture that relationship and really create a strong, trusting, I feel confident enough to submit you to my manager for this job type of relationship. And that happens over conversations, over months. It happens through engagement, whether it is, text messages, LinkedIn messages, a virtual coffee chat. Building a relationship takes time, especially if you plan on using this person for a recommendation or an in to a certain company. So recognize that if you meet someone who works where you want to work or is where you would like to get, that doesn't mean that that person is going to be able to get you an in right away. But what you can do is just start meeting people who are where you want to be and who can help you at some point. It may not be now, but it can be in the future. And LinkedIn is a really good place to start when it comes to just meeting professionals, meeting career professionals, meeting higher ups, meeting decision makers who can help you get to where you're trying to go. This did help me like 5 years ago. There was a major company that I was interviewing with at the time, and I ended up reaching out to this really nice girl on LinkedIn. She had the same title that I had. I wasn't taking her job, but she had the same title that I was going for, and I just messaged her on LinkedIn on a whim and said, hey, can you give me some interview tips? Is there anything that you can do to help me? And she gave me some amazing tips. Like, we had a Zoom call and everything. And then 8 months after the fact, I didn't get that job, but we had stayed in contact on LinkedIn and offline after the fact. And when another marketing position came available at that company, she was able to submit me for that role. Again, made it to the final interview round, didn't get the job. At this point, that company is on my don't ever apply to ever again list. But it was nice to build that relationship and keep it in my back pocket and build that relationship over time. So I hope that that's an example on how you can focus on building relationships now for the future, even though you are currently job searching. And again, I hope that makes sense. All right, you guys, so those are some simple tips for you to survive and thrive in a tough job search market. I really hope that you guys found this video helpful. If so, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Go ahead and hit the like, give me a like down below. I hope that this video provided some context and gave you some simple ideas. I don't like creating, fluffy content where I tell you guys, just keep applying, just email people on LinkedIn. Like, I feel like there's so much clickbait content out there. And the one thing that I pride myself on with the career content that I create and resumes and everything is that I keep it very real with y'all, very transparent. No chaser, good, bad, indifferent. I will tell you what it is. And the fact is that no matter what you do, there are so many forces that are outside of your control when it comes to a job search. And I've talked about this in many videos before. You have nepotism, you have all these internal politics, you have things that are happening on the back end that have nothing to do with you, but they're affecting you. So it's so easy for me to say, oh, just, optimize your resume, keyword optimize your resume, show up on camera as your best self, send the best thank you note ever. That's not enough. Like, as we know with a job search, it's so many different factors. It's so many varying factors. But what I can say is that if you use the tips in this video, they can help you on your journey if you're going through, like a tough job search and you're not experiencing or having a lot of success. I get it. Like I said, I landed my new position 26 days after getting laid off. I don't take that lightly. I'm incredibly grateful because it could have gone the other way. If you are someone who has been job searching for months and months or over a year, I really hope that offer is coming soon for you. And I encourage you to watch other videos on my channel that may serve as a resource for you. So again, really hope that y'all found this helpful. Happy job searching. I want y'all to get an offer when it is your time. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye, y'all.